Latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on a Friday. Excuse me, frog in my throat. All right, Friday, September the 3rd, 2021, coming to you from a cool Bedford County, Virginia. Got down in the 50s again last night, so that means the pool's going to be dastardly cold for the next couple days until we get some more heat coming through. A nice day, though. It's going to be a nice day. Of course, I got therapy this afternoon, so that takes care of that. But next Thursday, again, folks, Travel and Cruise Industry News will be pre-recorded, as was yesterday's. I got a question for all of y'all. One, make sure you look at Hot Air Tom's comments this morning with his latest adventure. I mean, after everything that's happened to him, let's see, he got run out of Key West because of the chicken incident. He got hit over the head with a paddleboard paddle and got hit over the head with a scuba tank by Cindy. Then he was viciously attacked by a shark. And now I hear he's been attacked by iguana. And I have no proof of this one, folks. I'm not sure if I'm going to have time today to bring Hot Air Tom on for an explanation of that one. But it's interesting. So my real question to you guys, were you guys able to find me yesterday? I mean, those of you that wanted to watch the show yesterday, I have no idea what kind of notifications go out as when I'm doing a video as opposed to when I'm doing live stream. Any thoughts about what I can do to make it more accessible for next Thursday? I know next Thursday is got to be taped. That's the only way around it, because the appointment is actually at 11 o'clock. But I mean, my numbers went to hell yesterday. So, I'm curious what I can do to make it more accessible so you guys can find me in case you want to check out the news for the day. So, all right. Today's show, Friday, Travel and Cruise Industry News on the September 3rd, 2021. We'll have a look at, of course, Hurricane Larry. UK travel business is in trouble. Carnival cancellations. Enchanted Princess arrives in Port Everglades. Holland America and the Panama Canal. Travel restrictions. From Mexico? Is that possible? Royal Caribbean buffets, Disney and Pierside Testing. First month from Dream Cruises, and some thoughts about why I do what I do. Many of you have asked why I hate politicians so much. Both sides. I'm not saying this Republican or Democrat. I hate Trumpers. I don't hate Trumpers any more than I hate Dems. I hate them all. I equally hate on both sides of the aisle. Here's why. We've just gone through what I think is going to be one of the worst hurricanes this country's ever seen. I thought Katrina was awful, was bad, and it was. But I'm thinking in the long run, by the time the deaths and damages and everything is totaled up, ours might be worse than Katrina. The Delta variant is rampaging through the country. We're losing control of the pandemic again, and what's that going to bring for us? And what is our government doing? The feds are reportedly looking into why McDonald's ice cream machines are broken all the time. All right. Hurricane Larry. It's slowly strengthening out there in the Atlantic. The risk of rip currents and high surf from Larry's swells increased for the Lesser Antilles this weekend. Summary as of 5 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. It was 970 miles west of the southernmost Cabo Verde Islands, 1,530 miles east of the Leeward Islands, carrying maximum sustained winds at 90 miles an hour. The central pressure keeps dropping, 982 millibars. It's moving toward the west-northwest at nearly 20 miles an hour, and this motion is expected during the next few days. A turn to the northwest is forecast by early next week. And it's generally aimed toward Bermuda. That's Bermuda up there above the cone of uncertainty. Now, whether it's going to get there or not we don't know yet. But they're calling for additional strengthening during the next few days. Should be a major hurricane by tonight. Now, then it depends. Is this going to be like Kate that peters out before it gets anywhere near Bermuda? Or is it going to have enough guts to keep going? We're just going to have to watch it and see. There's very little chance of development on the other two X's that were on the original map that I showed you, which is this one, the one down there around Honduras, and the one off the coast of Africa. Neither one, they're not calling for either one of those to get much more than they are right now. So that's a good thing. This is a little bit troubling story this morning, and one that I hope that Cruz Amigo Martin will have recovered from his illnesses and be with us on Sunday, because I would like to ask him a little bit more about this one. But apparently, the World Travel and Tourism Council has warned the UK government that with the furlough scheme coming to an end, it is just 30 days left to save travel businesses that are struggling to survive. World Travel and Tourism Council also warns that unless international travel opens up more widely with simplified controls, the UK is facing the loss of 59 billion. Hundreds of thousands of employees in the tourism sector are still benefiting from the furlough scheme, the UK government scheme, which is due to end September 31st. I take as much like, our program that paid people for not working. This and the loans and so forth to the businesses and all that part of that economic package we had in this country. Now, the date, this end of September, coincides with the next Global Travel Task Force review on October 1st. The WTTC warns that unless travel is opened up significantly by that date, many more people working in the sector could face losing their jobs due to the ending of government COVID-19 related support as businesses are forced to let go. Based on 2019 pre-pandemic levels, the WTTC estimates that 59 billion could be lost from the economy if travel remains curtailed over the final quarter of 2021. And furthermore, 8.9 billion could be lost purely due to the lack of inbound travel spending within the UK. So, Martin, as many of you know, is a travel agent. So I'd like to ask what he thinks about this from the travel perspective. I sent him a message earlier, real early today, and have not heard back from him. So I don't know if he's still sick or if he's working. I have no idea. But tough go in the UK, it looks like. Carnival. Yesterday, after I finished the show, remember I had to tape it early to get to the hospital. The Carnival canceled a bunch of cruises. Here's the best I can put together of all the changes and who they matter the most. Guests who have been patiently waiting to sail on the Radiance, which of course is the remake of the Triumph, which was scheduled finally to get started in November, will have to wait one more month, as the newly announced restart is now December 13th. Originally, the ship was supposed to make its West Coast debut on November the 11th, but her inaugural voyage has been pushed back due to the change in the dry dock schedule. Elsewhere, Carnival Valor will be doing 4 and 5 night sailings out of New Orleans on November 1st, joining Carnival Glory if she ever gets started in New Orleans. Remember, that 1 week is canceled. We don't know about the next one yet. While Carnival Legend will sail from Baltimore beginning November 14th. Finally, Carnival Pride is slated to sail out of Tampa as of November 14th. At the same time, Carnival announced that the Conquest, which was expected to resume sailing out of Miami October 8th, will instead now sail beginning December 13th. Additionally, the returns of Liberty out of Port Canaveral, Sunshine out of Charleston, South Carolina, Paradise out of Tampa, Ecstasy out of Jacksonville, and Sensation from Mobile will be pushed into 2022. No dates given yet. Carnival also revealed that they are working, folks, it's not there yet, on plans to roll out mobile pre-cruise rapid testing sites at their home ports as a backup alternative for vaccinated guests who aren't able to make arrangements in advance. Details will be coming about these plans in the days ahead. Now, keep in mind, folks, that's a bunch of cruises that got canceled. So if you were on any of those, I'm sorry. And I'm assuming the reason why is because of the pandemic situation in home port areas and the situation on the destination ports and changes therein. The most important thing to take from this, folks, is the cruise lines are doing what they feel they have to do to keep people safe. Believe me, they want to be sailing. They don't want to be canceling cruises. They want to also assure that they can continue going ahead. And if canceling cruises is the way to do it, then that's what they got to do. Until we get to the point in this country where we've got 75 to 80% vaccinated and can have some control over this Delta variant, I think things are probably going to get worse than they get better. But one thing to keep in mind, folks, no matter what, and you'll see it in a couple more stories we have today, if you're booked on a cruise from now to the end of the year, you need to stay on top daily of protocols, of vaccination requirements, of testing requirements. We know they've gone from 3 days to 2 days, and that's probably going to become the standard for everybody in the days ahead. Those change. Destination, ports of call, their requirements are changing, and they might throw a test at you or other things. So you need to be checking on this every day. Don't count on what it is today, because tomorrow something's going to be different. And if you can't live like that, if that freaks you out, then don't cruise till next year. As much as I'd love to cruise, and I'd love to see you guys cruise, it's not a time for weak-hearted folks. Things are going to change. Things are going to happen. We're going to find COVID on ships. My feeling is, as long as the protocols are working and they're doing what they're doing and keeping us as safe as they possibly can, and we're vaccinated to be as protective as we can, Sweet. Now, for our friends like Jack, I don't know if Jack's with us. I have not been over to the chat room to see who's here yet. But Jack down in Florida, I know, is counting on his immunity from a severe case of COVID. I did see a very interesting report from Israel about that very subject. And it does appear that those antibodies from his serious illness, and he had a bad case of it, his serious illness that he survived are greater than the antibodies from the two-step vaccination process. It does fall behind with the booster added in. I was able to get my booster almost immediately because of my health issues. And I know some of you can't do that. Some of you have to wait the 8 months or whatever it is after the second shot. Okay. But get it as soon as you possibly can. Now, it might be as we get on down the road, the boosters will become more accessible as the vaccines have become more accessible. So, but if you're weak-hearted, folks, on changes and wrinkles being thrown at you, then just don't cruise, because I promise you, everything as it is today will be different tomorrow and next week and the week after when you guys are going on cruises. And God knows I would love for you to go, because I plan on bugging the hell out of you to talk to me when you're on cruises, because I can't go on one and I got to cruise through your eyes. All right. The Enchanted Princess. That's Princess Cruise Ships. Arrived in Port Everglades yesterday, marking the first vessel from Princess to return to Florida since the shutdown in March 2020. Enchanted Princess was originally slated to launch during the summer of 2020. Shipyard delays pushed that back to September of 2020, and she's just now getting here. On Wednesday, November 10th, the Enchanted Princess will resume guest operations with a 10-night cruise to the Southern Caribbean. Awesome. During that voyage, the ship is slated to pay visits to Princess Key, Dominica, St. Thomas, Grenada, and Curacao. The Enchanted Princess now expands Princess Cruises' global fleet of medallion-class vessels and wearable ocean medallion devices that will help passengers make their vacations effortless, enabling touchless interactive experiences and entertainment. Passengers will also be able to enjoy expedited boarding, on-demand food, beverage, retail, and service delivery, keyless stateroom entry, contactless payment, a friends and family locator, anywhere wagering, interactive games, and movies, live TV on the go. So that's the Enchanted Princess. Holland America talked yesterday about their Panama Canal schedule for 22 and 23. A lot of their ships have been pushed back to after the first of the year as well. The Panama Canal has been called one of humankind's greatest engineering achievements. If you haven't been through the canal, you need to go. That's got to be on everybody's bucket list for at least once. The 22-23 cruise season for Holland America ships will feature itineraries that include a full transit between Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Onboard guests get a front row seat for the 8-hour daylight journey through the canal, often cited as a rite of passage experience by avid cruisers. Ranging in length from 14 to 23 days aboard Eurodam, New Amsterdam, Volendam, and Zuiderdam. Holland America's Panama Canal voyages depart from several ports, including San Diego, California, Seattle, Washington, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Vancouver in British Columbia in Canada. Many of the itineraries have 2 or 3 embarkation and debarkation options, enabling guests to stay on for an extended trip or utilize the port that is most convenient. In addition to the Panama Canal, the itineraries visit several beautiful locales in Central America and the Caribbean, offering a complete tropical vacation of lush flora, exotic fauna, golden beaches, and a display of nature's most vibrant hues. Obviously, I'm reading from their press conference because that's not my language, but that came out of their press release. So, Mexico. This one, folks, kind of bothered me a little bit. Countries worldwide are strengthening their entry requirements under soaring Delta variant cases, particularly under unvaccinated people, including Mexico. As the cruise industry starts up more ships and places like Cozumel become increasingly busy with tourists, concerns are growing that unrestricted travel could mean more cases, especially in tourist-heavy areas. Mexico has never closed down or put any restrictions on travel. Yet, tourism ministers in Mexico are now talking about implementing strict entry requirements for travelers. International travel to Mexico has always been reasonably straightforward, even during the pandemic. Mexico is one of the few countries to never have closed its borders to air and never required incoming tourists and travelers to undergo any quarantine upon arrival. But the lack of control seems to be coming to an end now, with Delta variant cases soaring worldwide, including Mexico, sparking fear of new lockdowns and more blows to the tourist industry. Reason enough for Mexico's Association of Tourism Minister to request the federal government of Mexico to implement a policy requiring incoming tourists to present a vaccination certificate and a negative PCR test result. It will be required that cruise lines will happily comply with, as most already require a vaccine mandate and negative PCR test for their guests. So, Mexico, come on with it. I don't think it will bother any of the cruise lines, and it's not going to bother any of the cruisers because they all have to do that to get on cruise ships now anyway. So, Disney. Let's see. Following the new guidance for the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Disney Cruise Line has announced that all guests, regardless of age and vaccination status, will be required to take a Pierside rapid PCR test prior to boarding. The cost of the test will be covered by the cruise line, which is different than some of the cruises. And then again, it points out, folks, why you need to stay on top of this kind of stuff, because it's changing every day. Royal Caribbean buffets. Ever since Royal Caribbean restarted sailing, the buffets on board moved from self-service to full service, something that I liked and a lot of you guys have liked, meaning that crew members serve guests instead of guests serving themselves. Carnival, as you know, came out with buffets as they always used to be, something that I didn't like. The rule change was one of many new health protocols introduced to lower the chance of COVID transmission between guests and crew members, and this rule may end up being a change that makes sense even beyond COVID. Royal Caribbean Group Chairman and CEO Richard Fain, in a recent interview, said he thinks crews serving guests food at the buffet is just a better approach in addition to protecting health. Look for this one to become permanent. That's my prediction. Something we don't talk about much. Dream Cruises has announced the completion of its first month of operation in Hong Kong, with the Genting Dream resuming sailings from Kai Tak Cruise Terminal on July the 30th. Since the end of July, the Genting Dream has welcomed over 20,000 guests on board for super seacation getaways. And they've done it without any major outbreaks. So that brings us up to one last thing to discuss. Why I do what I do. And quite frankly, folks, it's not for the money. Many of you that follow cruise influencers know that, like Emma was able to quit her job recently and go full-time as a YouTuber, vlogger, cruise person. She's got 70,000 followers. I used Tony at La Lita Loca, who also was able a couple years ago to give up his job, his real job. And he now is a full-time YouTuber / vlogger. He's got 118,000 followers. You know, I've got 2,700 followers. So I'm nothing compared to these guys. But just so you know, to be perfectly transparent, June and July, I made $200.60, the check I got last month for the 2 months. The month of August, I did not meet the $100 threshold to get a check. My income for August was $96 and some cents. So next month, I'll get a check for August and September, which will be 200 and plus a little bit, hopefully. If I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, folks, but being perfectly transparent, you know, I do have financial means so that I'm able to do this and cover the costs of doing this, because this clearly, that does not cover my cost. The cost of doing live streaming, the cost of doing videos, the big ass microphone that I bought, the camera that I bought, the lighting that I've got, the bulbs for the lighting. You guys have known that I've had burn out bulbs before. It happens with lights. You know, those bulbs are expensive. I mean, you know, I've got the money to do this because I love what I do. I enjoy it. But that's still not the main reason. About 3:30 this morning, I had a message from our friend Janine Williamson, over on the other side of the pond, one of our writers who's been on this show a bunch. She received an email from an unnamed person. I'm not going to use the person's name because I don't have permission to, but I am going to read you the email that Janine got. The email to Janine said, "I enjoyed your interview with Chillie. Your low-key charm emboldened me to email. I appreciated your recent experiences. I will be one of the early cross-sea travelers there also, September 22nd. I've never traveled solo before or in Europe since 2007. Excited to be stretching my wings again. I have ups and downs in my physical ability, so I'd love any insight or suggestions you have about the shore excursions or anything else, of course. Thank you for your interest." And I'll just say that was signed M. That's why we do it, guys. To help people get in area we love, which is travel and cruising. Janine loves all forms of cruising, river and ocean. So she's influenced this lady to spread her wings and go solo on a crossing river cruise. God bless her. I hope she has a wonderful trip. And she's got any questions of me, I'll be happy to answer any that I can too. You know, I have some mobility issues. Some of you know that I do a blog on accessible travel. I'm a facilitator, it's called. Yes, I write some things, but most of it I find useful articles that other accessibly challenged folks are writing, and I post those to drive traffic to them. But that's why we do it. Okay, let's check who's with us other than Hot Air Tom with his iguana attack. I can't wait to hear the the reason behind that one. Tom's with us. Cindy's here. Bonnie's here. Hot in South Florida. Bonnie says, hi, y'all. Carol's with us. Hey, Carol. Gretchen's here. Amy's here. Yes, I was notified. I thought everything was fine. Thank you, Amy. I got my usual YouTube notification. Watch the tape video. Miss you live. But it was okay. Yeah, well, because it wasn't live. I taped it at like 6:30 yesterday morning, not at 11. Rally Creative Travel is here. Good morning to you. Glad to see you. Amy says, I agree with you about politics. And talk. Little positive action. I just get so frustrated with them. Bonnie says, hiya, Blaine, at Rally Creative Travel. He says, morning to Bonnie. Hot Air Tom wants to know, Bonnie, did you get your AC fixed and the van? And Tom says, hi, Blaine. And Blaine says, hi, Tom, good to see you, friend. Tom Henry says, I'm tired of all the friction, laughing loud. How about we compromise on abortion and use 8 weeks? I'll stay totally away from that subject, but anything that's a compromise would be fine with me. Just do something. You know? The van was towed to the mechanic yesterday at 6 p.m. The AC is working now, but AC repair coming here this afternoon to check everything. All right, that's good, Bonnie. Don't want you down there in that heat with no air conditioning. Good Lord. Tom says, good luck. Nikki's with us. Good morning, all. Happy Friday. I'm wondering what the issue is with the panorama. And you know what, Tom? There's been nothing about that, nor has there been anything on the cruise that it's on now. I haven't seen anything that they're off schedule or their speed's been cut, or so maybe whatever the issue was that delayed them coming back that they're not talking about was fixed. I'm assuming it had something to do with the azopods, because that just sounds like the same issue we had 2 years ago on several ships, Carnival and others, from the azopods, because I didn't know what an azopod was. So Jason's with us from up in Pittsburgh. Tom Henry says, my New York gym cruise is now 79 days. Let's hope New York is ready. Yes, I agree. Jason says, it's safe to cruise. Well, I agree, Jason, as long as you're vaccinated. or situation like I still prefer the vaccination. I'm glad I've got my booster. I want to be as safe as possible. Believe me. Tom Henry. Homework assignment for me, Chillie Cruises. Find out if the Abbott's Labs home test that is proctored is accepted by NCL for a 48-hour pretest. Okay. I'll see if I can find out when I get back from therapy today. Carnival won't take a home test. I don't know if NCL will. NCL tests all at the port, but it sounds like if you test positive, it helps with refund and other issues to have a negative test prior to cruise arrival. Bonnie says, I still need the third booster shot, but I still don't feel great. No more fever, just really tired. Tony Lolita thought the proctored tests were being accepted. I don't know. So I'll see what I can find out. Tony seemed like he's on speed lately. I try to pick up on his show every day. Yes, we are technically competitors, but I'll tell you why I try to listen to him every day. Number one, I like his style. Number two, he might have stories that I have covered, and I can see how he approached it. On the other side of that, he might have stories that I didn't have that I might need for tomorrow. So, he's usually about an hour after me. So, things happen in the middle of the day sometimes and pops up that he has a chance. So I try to listen to him every day. I like his style. I enjoy him. And I have a lot more faith in him than I have in some of the other folks in this space. Hot Air Tom says Tuesday will be a busy day for me. Pick up BMW that has been in the shop since we left. Pick up Penny at the Holiday Barn and get both of us booster shots. Appointments at 10 a.m. and 11. Nice. Cindy says, I'm checking the Carnival site on a daily basis and move my 72-hour test within 48 hours for my October Carnival cruise on horizon. Good move, Cindy. And I hate it that we have to do that, but keep checking. I took the Buy Next Now test, not proctored, ordered it from Walgreens, and it was delivered to DoorDash a few hours later. It was negative. Glad to hear it. Then there is Don. He seems to repeat what Tony says. Don has a tendency not to check his stories too. I'll tell you that one right up front. I've caught him a couple times that he puts stories up that are not verified. And I have not seen that Tony does that. I think Tony's a little more careful with what he produces. I like Tony a lot. I really do. That's Lolita Loca, folks, if you don't know. Cindy says, I'm reading there's a meeting 9/17 about boosters, possibly at 6 months. I want one. I have the feeling. One thing I found out, there's no difference, folks. When if you got Pfizer, okay, which I did, the first shot, the second shot, and the booster shot, it's all the same shot. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same amount of the same stuff. I thought maybe they were all different, but no, it's the same thing. You just get the same thing 3 times. I didn't know that. Of course, sometimes I'm not very smart, but I had no idea. Then I go for toe surgery next Wednesday. Number 1 toe to have the claw broken. Toes curled over like from a terrific orgasm, but I missed that part. Oh my God. That's funny, Tom. That that's really good. And folks, I guess you know that I've been picking on Tom unmercifully on this trip that he's been on. But I've had so much fun doing it. And I got to find out about the iguana because I don't know about the iguana story yet. So that's got to be a great chapter. Look at the rust by the anchor on the Enchanted Princess. I don't know if that's rust or if it's just discoloration, but yeah, there's something. I noticed that when I checked on that myself. Uh, TMI, hot air, Tom. Uh, they need some paint, Tom says. You are need to know. Uh, Tom Henry, ouch. I had a big toe surgery done about 10 years ago for arthritis. Had a screw put in my toe. Ugh. A bone was removed. Had the screw removed next year. Wow. Tom says, we will be doing the New York to Panama City with full Panama Canal crossing on the Jewel. February 22 will be our fourth PC trip and third on Jewel. The other one was Bliss. Nice. I'm, you know, I'm the one, I tell you what I'm looking at if I can get the oxygen situation. I'm looking at one of the round trippers from Fort Lauderdale that goes around South America. And just biting the bullet, pay the money, and go. And be gone for, I don't know, what is it, 70 days or 45 days or some crazy amount that I've never done on a cruise ship before. But for that, I would like to do it. Jason says Suez Canal would be interesting. I agree wholeheartedly on that, Jason. My buckets runneth over, laugh out loud. That was our main bucket list cruise when we started cruising in 2012. Yeah. You're the one that got me hooked on that, Tom, when you were running around with the penguin trying to stuff a penguin in your suitcase down there on whatever damn country that was, Paraguay, Uruguay. I don't even remember where you were. Some down there near Antarctica, where the penguin, and you were trying to stuff one in your suitcase. Got in trouble, just like you got in trouble with the chickens in Key West. Jason says, I'll try to get in that ship if it's not sold out. Yep. Hope all goes well with your surgery. Everybody's saying that, Tom. Of course, we all will definitely. I won't pick on you about toe surgery. I don't pick on people about medical issues, but I'll sure pick on you about some of your travels. That's for sure. Jason says, "Rest in peace, Emily's basement." Yeah, Emily's not. I don't know where Emily is today. I don't know if she had damages up there or not. But my goodness, boy, New York just got it awful. That's where I think from Philadelphia on up had so much damage and so much loss of life and everything. I think it's going to exceed what Katrina cost. Tom says, I was looking at pricing yesterday on Jade Cruises. The 23rd 2023 cruise only has inside and OV available. Everything above OV is sold out. OV's lowest price is over. OV lowest price is over. Our balcony price is OV. Okay. Jason says, I don't mind interior rooms. Normally, Jason, I don't either on shorter cruises. But if I'm going on a longer cruise, I think I'm gonna want maybe not go to the expense of a balcony, but at least a porthole because I mean, we're going to see too much that I don't want to miss if I happen to be in the cabin working or whatever. Because, you know, when I go on a cruise, I work too. You know, I work in doing videos and doing stuff, live streams when I can, and all those things. So, but I don't mind an interior cabin for shorter cruises. I'm just not, I probably would want to foot the bill for a longer one. Dream looks like breakaway and getaway. No forward lounge. Okay. Chillie's Cruises does not beg like some other guys. No, I try not to. I mean, when you guys do give me donations, I certainly do appreciate it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Jason says I'm more interesting than anybody else. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Bonnie says my niece up in Astoria, Queens, also lost her basement to Ida and flooding. Guess it's good there aren't a lot of basements in Florida. Well, isn't that the truth? Tom Henry says not many in Virginia either. Yeah, I don't have a basement here. This house was originally built. The original part of the house was built in 1903, and we don't have a basement. I'm built. This room that I'm in right now is part of the old house. It was one of the 4 rooms in the old cabin, as it were. And it's built on a rock foundation, and there's a crawl space underneath this room. That's, I mean, I can't crawl in. I'm too fat, but it's a small crawl space. But you do get animals under there occasionally. You also get a lot of cold air. So, you know, heat becomes a critical issue during the wintertime because it's cold air under there. We stuff bales of hay around, literally outside around the base of the room to try to keep the wind from blowing in here. So I freeze to death all winter. Tom Henry says time to give Chillie super big chats. Well, don't. I'm never going to beg for those, Tom, but I do appreciate them when I get it. Gretchen says I still use PayPal, and I appreciate that, and I try to catch up the next day when you guys go the PayPal route. Yes, that does save a little bit, but I don't. It's kind of a mixed bag on the going through super chats and super stickers and that kind of thing. Yeah, Facebook gets a percentage of that, so I don't end up with as much as you're giving, but it also helps to boost my overall earnings for the month. I'd like to get to the point where I've got, you know, a check every month to pay for some of the stuff that I pay for out of pocket. So, Tina Turtle needs fed too. That's absolutely correct. Tina Turtle back there, I feed her regularly, and she and I have discussions every now and then, as I do with Brett the cat and Max the dog. By the way, I'm probably going to start Brett the cat's website back up, featuring my COVID kitties, Canal and Charmin. But I haven't done that yet, but I'm probably going to. Bonnie says, you know, I love Emma, but I wasn't thrilled that she quit her day job to be a U-Time full-timer, and I dropped my Patreon support to Tony. When YouTube becomes a job, I lose interest. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. And I understand. I understand your position because I don't do this for the money, you know, at all. I do it because I love what I do. I enjoy what I do. I'm an idiot early riser, so I'm up at 4 a.m. and start researching what I'm going to have on my show that day with my first couple cups of coffee. That's just very comfortable for me. So anyway, but anytime that happens, I certainly do appreciate it. Amy says JJ Cruz mentioned YouTube does periodic purges and they lose a few hundred viewers overnight. Yeah, I've had, of course, with my size, I might lose 5 or 6. But mine's been staying pretty steady. Everybody's been complaining about recent purges. Tony's mentioned it. JJ's mentioned it. It hasn't hit me yet. And I've picked up, for me, quite a few new folks recently because of the shorts. I'm getting more people that pick up on the short video business that may or may not have anything to do with cruising, but it's bringing people to this channel and it's picking up. We're getting some new viewers on this show. So Tony mentioned his channel has a purge too this week. Yeah, there's several people have said that. So Tom says at least Tony does not beg you like you know who. Yeah, his stock market show requires a monthly membership to enter chat. Viewing is free, but $9.95 to chat, and he's still begging. Yeah, that's kind of why. I used to watch him on a regular basis, and why I don't. I don't worry about the money. If I can afford something, I'm going to get it. That's all. If I can't afford it, I don't get it. That's just like this. When I can go cruising again, if I want to take a 45-day or whatever the hell it is, it's going to cost me some money. But I still, before I die, which could be next week, but before I die, I want to do a couple of the bucket list things that I haven't had a chance to do yet. Bonnie says, when I started watching YouTube cruise videos many years ago, there was Sherry, CTTV, and Morgan O'Brien, 2 people who love cruising. Now Morgan's full-time YouTube too. Yeah, they get big and they make lots of money. And that's fine. That's what allows them to pay. Keep in mind, folks, despite what many people think, when I go on a cruise, I pay the same thing you pay. I don't get a break because I do this. I don't get a break because I do things. Now, in the UK, it's a little bit different. Well, thank you, Bonnie, for the super chat for Tina Turtle. Thank you. Tina Turtle thanks you, too. I'll get some special turtle food for Tina Turtle. In the UK, every now and then, there are media weekends. So there's a couple times which Emma has been able to go on a shorty, a 2 or 3 dayer, gratis. But most of her cruises she pays for just like I do, just like you do. Same with Tony and Don. In this country, there's no freebies that I know of. Even the bigger guys are paid just like I do. Now, Tony's a little different in that his wife is a travel agent. So, he's getting stuff less, I'm sure, less the commission that goes to her, or, you factor it in. But still, his base price is the same as my base price and the same as your base price. And it makes no difference if you go to a travel agent or you go directly to the cruise line and book it yourself. It's the same price. The only difference is the travel agent gets a commission from the cruise line. We can't get that. I can't get that unless you're a licensed, and it takes tons and tons of time and money to become a licensed travel agent, because I've looked at that, doing that too, and at my age, and that was 15 years ago, it was not worth it. And now it would be even less chance of that. Nikki says, so sorry to hear about that. Hope all is better soon. Amy says, Tony may be a full-time blogger, but his wife Jenny's a travel agent. Yeah, I think she's affiliated with Expedia, so they have 2 incomes. Yeah, that's true. And speaking of that, our friend Kim that was doing the cocktail parties when we were doing cocktail parties for the Cruz Amigos, that started off from the Cruz Amigos, but Kim out there in Oregon is going to be with us on her Alaska cruise on Sunday for the Cruz Amigos if we can get a decent signal on Sunday. So that's currently on the schedule. And I'm not sure when our friend Allison gets off of her cruise. If it's on Saturday, we will try to get with her on Sunday as well. So, um, go away, phone. All right. That's going to wrap me up, guys. I've run out of voice here. Again, thank you, Bonnie, for the donation. I do appreciate it. Um, a lot more comments that I didn't get to today. Carol, thank you. You love the show. That's great. Bonnie says she likes the shorts. What happened to Jay? He used to do daily news, but that seems to have stopped. I have no idea on that. Don't really like his or Tony's live, no content. Well, I try to give you guys content that I thought. Oh, Emily's there, still on. Huh. I thought Chillie would have been gone by now. Kiss my butt, Emily. Been chatting away. All right, I've got to go, guys. Wow, that's almost an hour. I got to get to therapy. Okay, I'll see everybody tomorrow. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.